Hi, everyone, and welcome to WooStream Bringing Willamette to You. My name's Tiffany Newton, and I lead the Alumni and Parent Engagement team for Willamette and PNCA. We're so excited to have you all joining us this evening. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items. As I shared, the first part of the session will operate much like a webinar. Our panelists will share brief remarks and some survey results and other information that will be important for you. And then we will move into the breakout rooms. When we move into the breakout rooms, that's when we will change the camera and mic settings so that everyone can participate fully. We are joined by two fabulous moderators, Leah and Sayer Cohen, Leah Sheldon and Sayer Cohen from the Alumni and Parent Engagement team. You can chat with them, use the Q&A feature if you have any issues. They can help you out with everything. And then really the important part is that we are here to talk with you and about you to see how we can connect with you, what information and services and programming you're interested in, all that we can do to kind of help you connect deeper to Willamette. As the closest partners we have in support of your students' education, you have a unique role to play, and we're really excited to collaborate with you on this. Over the past few years, we've endeavored to strengthen our connections and communication and programming to better engage with you in support of our shared students. Tonight's program is another step in that. So thank you to those who responded to the survey and for those joining us this evening. And I will very briefly forward my own slides and then introduce our panelists. So we have myself, Tiffany Newton. I'm the Director of Alumni and Parent Engagement. You might have seen me at opening days, or if you've been to other big events. We also have my counterpart, Dr. Eric Lassahn, who's our Senior Associate Director, focusing on parent engagement. Abby Kahl, who is an alum herself from the class of 2005. She serves as our Senior Associate Director, also for Alumni and Parent Engagement. And then Cady Campbell, one of our colleagues from the Admissions Office. She serves as an Associate Director of Admission from the Office of Admission here at Willamette. So you might have also encountered her through your journey to Willamette. Really, this session, as I said, we're going to go through the evolution of the parent engagement program here at Willamette. We're going to talk about our holistic approach and what we're hoping to do, what we've done previously, what that looks like now, current efforts, survey results that will hopefully inform what we build out next in collaboration with you all. And then we'll break out into those breakout rooms and conversations to hopefully deepen all of that knowledge sharing and program building. So I'm going to hand things off at this moment to Abby.
Thanks, Tiffany, and thank you all for joining us this evening. Eric asked me to touch a little bit about the evolution of parent engagement at Willamette, and I'm thrilled to say that parent engagement is not new. We've been doing this for quite a while, but historically, we have engaged a smaller group of strategic parent volunteers in activities such as fundraising, on-campus events, and some regional events. So you had to be in those locations, whether it was supporting an admission event or coming to campus to support a broader program. But with the pandemic, it allowed us to really rethink our approach, and we leaned into the technology that we had, and it allowed us to really start to engage parents where they're located and families where they're located. So instead of just being in Salem or in Seattle, we could provide information at a broader spectrum. And that really allowed us to move forward and deepen our engagement with you and the rest of our parent and family community. And so when we look ahead at some of the things that we're able to do, and Tiffany, if you could move that slide forward, we're moving forward. Some of the things that you may have experienced are, on-campus receptions. So we still do that because there's value. Predominantly what you'll see that is Bearcat Days, where we invite some of our current parents to come and speak to our prospective parents. And a lot of our parent volunteer activities have really focused around admission. And so previously, we had things like Woo to You, where we would go to regions, and a lot of that now going with that technology, we're able to reach more folks through Zoom. We are also really working at forming a relationship with between parents and our alumni board of directors. So we have 40 really engaged alumni that represent all of our colleges, of various decades, various backgrounds. And we felt it was important for our parents to have a seat at the table to engage and to hear what our alumni are up to and the ways that they're engaging, because a lot of those are ways that we can engage our parent population. And so we have admission opportunities, but now there are opportunities that we're working to build out for our parents to support career. Some of our parents are able to offer internship opportunities. We are building out our LinkedIn community so that we can help accelerate our students in that way. And we want to be able to plug parents in the same way that we're doing with our alumni, whether that's speaking at on a panel or being a topic expert. So we're really trying to build out those opportunities that we see for alumni with our parent community. Tiff, I think then, and I'm going to hand it over to, I think Eric is next.
Actually,
I think I'm going to steal
it's Cady.
from Eric.
with admissions.
Hi, folks. My name is Cady Campbell. I am an Associate Director of Admission for the College of Arts and Sciences. This is my 10th recruitment cycle with Willamette University, which is wild to me. And I have worked with students from all over the country over the years. So it's really, really fun to see you introducing yourselves. And seeing so many different states represented. It's entirely possible that I have worked with your students over the years. And this is my first year getting to work very intentionally with parent engagement in the admission process as students are going through their college search, as they are completing their applications. Willamette, as you have known and experienced yourselves as the parents of current Bearcats, you know that when a student comes to Willamette University, that you join the family too. And so we want to be able to engage parents in meaningful ways earlier, and that starts in the admission process. And so we're trying to do this in a few different ways. We have always communicated with parents at different points during the admission process, and we continue to try to communicate more intentionally earlier in the process through email campaigns. We're not just telling students what is unique and different about Willamette. We are now telling parents what is unique and different about Willamette. We are letting them know when we're having special events on campus. And at each stage that a student engages with Willamette in their college search, maybe on a campus visit, certainly during their application process, and then after they have applied to Willamette and they've been admitted to Willamette, we are communicating not only with students about why they should choose Willamette, but also with parents and helping them feel confident in supporting their student in choosing Willamette as well. This year, we are continuing our virtual series of Unpacking Financial Aid to help parents and families really understand that complex and nuanced beast that is financial aid. And we're adding to that. So we started this fall with a webinar on just unpacking the college search and giving parents tips on how they can support their students throughout the college search. It was a little bit of an experiment, and we weren't really sure how it was going to go or how it was going to land with parents, and we were blown away to have over 300 parents register and express interest in the event, and we had almost 180 parents show up. So more than half of these parents who expressed interest in learning more about how they can best support their student throughout the college search attended that event, and they asked such good questions throughout that event. We decided to add on to that. So in a couple of, actually next week already, we are going to do another webinar for parents supporting their students in the college search. And we're going to unpack the college application for them and kind of explain what goes into a common application, what goes into the decision-making process, how holistic review really benefits students in the college search. And I'm excited to partner with our Dean of Admission in that conversation with parents supporting their students. We will continue to have our fabulous on-campus events. We're getting ready to welcome parents and students to campus for our Cardinal and Gold Day events, our signature fall open house events, which many of you may have attended when your students were going through the college search as well. And that's our big fall program. We'll do one in October, we'll do one in November. And then next spring, we will engage with juniors in our junior preview day in February. And then we will be able to connect very intentionally with our admitted students through our Bearcat Day programs in March and April. So we're looking forward to being able to welcome those students and their families to campus for those events. And as we continue to develop relationships with our parents and families, when students ultimately make the decision to attend Willamette and they enroll, that's when we start overlapping a little bit more with our partners, with Eric and Abby and the Office of Parent and Alumni Engagement. And we will start connecting with parents about, and families and students about what they need to know about the enrolling student process before we hand them over to our colleagues, and students get to walk onto campus in August. So that's what our year is going to look like. And we're looking forward to being able to find different ways that we can engage you, the parents of our current Bearcat students, because that peer-to-peer connection, it doesn't just matter to students, it also matters to parents. And so I know a few of you have maybe raised your hands to volunteer to help us in admission. We really appreciate that. And we're looking forward to finding different ways that we can engage with you and connect you with parents of students in the admission process.
Wonderful. And now we will turn it over to Eric, who's our lead parent whisperer and everything and anything that deals with this program. Eric, take it from here.
All right. Thanks, Tiffany, and thanks, Cady, and thanks everybody who's joining us tonight. It's really great to have so many parents interested in this program. So kind of continuing on with our holistic approach, as Cady alluded to, this is our first this is our first year kind of having a more seamless connection between the programming that admission is doing and some of these efforts that we're doing out of our office. To that end, Cady and I were joking earlier how I've guested on a couple of her webinars that have been geared towards prospective parents, where she's had to talk just about the entire time, and then I got to just pop in and say hi and talk for a minute or two. And then tonight she just gets to be the guest, and we're doing all the information sharing for the most part. So anyway, to continue on, once you do get here as a parent of a current student, we try to maintain our relationship with you and engage you further by sharing emails that are specific to you instead of just repurposing the same content that's gone out to other campus segments. And we've also tried to increase the volume of email that you're receiving, so that way you are feeling informed. Could we do a little more? Yes. Are there people who are very interested in hearing an update on the hot water system in Matthews, for example? Yes. And are we working on that? Yes. So message received. We will put together an email update for you soon, hopefully with a broader scope of some of our facilities situations as they continue to unfold for the rest of this year. Woo News is also a relatively new piece. It's a newsletter that started as basically an alumni only newsletter, And we realized that it's a really great platform to get a lot of information specific to Willamette out to our stakeholders. And so as we decided to expand this program to College of Arts and Sciences parents, and then also to PNCA parents, we actually curate the content in each segment, each newsletter segment, so that it's a little bit more specific to that audience. And kudos to you all. I'm super proud to say that the parent groups have the most click-throughs. You all read the WU News more than any other constituent. Whether that's alumni, current campus community folks, friends of the institution, donors, whoever. Our parents are the ones who read WU News the most. So way to go on that. And then you're experiencing a parent and family. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead to Parent Forum Series. That's what you're experiencing right now. But I'll finish. The Parent and Family Hub is a website. Actually, I'm going to click the chat, and that link should pop up there for you. If you haven't visited that, some folks have asked, where is a central location where I, as a parent or family member, can find important dates or upcoming information about upcoming events on campus. And so this is a place to start. There's also a contact page. There's also a listing for certain types of issues that your student might be experiencing and what's the correct office that you can connect them with. And you can also reach out to that office directly. But in any case, whether it's you see something on WU News or you've read an email or you're on the Parent Family Hub, if you're not finding what you need, you're always welcome to reach out to us at parentengagement@willamette.edu, or you can also reach out to any one of us on our staff team at our personal emails, our individual emails that we'll be posting those a little later on too. And then lastly, if you're not finding information or our email response isn't satisfying your need, I'm, as Tiffany mentioned, I'm the quote unquote parent whisperer. And really all that means is I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to talk with you. I'm here to try to share additional information. I'm also here to hear in more depth and detail what your concern entails, and then try to make sure that concern, that feedback is getting to the right office on campus. So that way we can continue to try to improve our efforts regarding your students. Okay, so the Parent Forum Series, as I jumped ahead and started to talk about, is what you're experiencing right now. This series started off back during the pandemic as a reactionary situation. We had these crises on campus. Not only did we have the pandemic, we also had wildfires that were creating all kinds of smoke in Salem and obviously affecting our campus. We had an ice storm that knocked out the power. So we needed to jump on this kind of a situation so that way parents and family members could hear directly from our campus administrators about what was going on and how we were addressing the situation. We realized it's a great platform and you all continue to show up to these. So after the first year when we had 4 forums, we decided to have 5 the next year and try to be a little bit more forward thinking and anticipate things that you might want to know, and then try to gear specific sessions at the right time during the year and have them be specific to things that you'd be interested in. And again, your response has been tremendous. And for those of you who are frequent flyers, thanks for continuing to join us. The recordings are also always available. We usually connect them. We link them in WU News whenever we can. And again, you're always welcome to reach out to us and we can make sure and connect you with any link to our previous forums that you might be interested in seeing. And so fast forward to this year, we actually have 10 forums scheduled. This is the 3rd in that series. And it's the first time that we've had a forum that is more specific to you and what you're interested in and how you like to engage with the university. And it segues with the survey that we'll talk about here in a second. The other engagement efforts are, as Abby mentioned earlier, our continued on-campus programming that we'll do, whether that's admission receptions or receptions that we partner with our colleagues in student affairs to help host. But we love to see you when you come to campus, and we love to gather you and see you interact with each other. And I always relish those chances to have in-person conversations with you. And then, of course, volunteer opportunities. Those have evolved over the years, and there are folks who have, through the survey, mentioned specifically that they're interested in volunteer opportunities, especially with regard to admission. So one of our breakout rooms will be geared towards potential volunteer opportunities this evening. So feel free to join that breakout room when the time comes if you're interested in that. So I think we will segue to, yes, the survey. We are finally here. For those of you who wanted to know what the survey looked like, we sent, and again, this was a pilot survey, so we didn't send it far and wide, but we are, for those of you who are joining us tonight and are interested in taking the survey, because we wanted to start with our most engaged parents, and if you're here with us tonight, you qualify as some of our most engaged parents. So I just put the link to the survey in the chat, and so hopefully we will go from 23 responses to 46 responses after this evening. But for now, for the purposes of our conversation, we sent this out to about 70 family members, some of whom are parents of former students, because we also wanted to hear kind of how parents are continuing to stay connected with us here at Willamette, even though their son or daughter or student has moved on, and we like to hear what they're doing and how they're keeping up. We try to connect with them directly as an alum, but we also love to maintain a relationship with you. So as you can see, of our 23 respondents, most of you are from the College of Arts and Sciences. We did have a couple from Pacific Northwest College of Art, and hopefully there are more of you on this forum this evening that might go ahead and click that link and take the survey sometime here in the next few days. And then there was at least 7 of you who are parents of an alum from Willamette. So we're really happy to hear from you all as well. And so at our next slide, we really wanted to know, what is your current level of engagement with us? Where do things stand with you here in the here and now? And so you enjoy receiving and staying current on information. By far, most of you really continue to enjoy, and that bears out again with Woo News being the most consumed the most by our parents. And then, joining us in forums and things like that. There's a slide, 2 slides from now, I think, that'll actually talk about, it'll be a breakout with the ways in which you like to stay informed. 6 of you like to attend Willamette athletic events. I suspect you may be parents of our athletes. You also like to attend other campus events, and we love to see what those. And then virtual programmings like this webinar. Many of you like to be here for those. And then a few of you, a handful of you, like to serve as our as volunteers. And so we hope that continues, and we hope that more of you might also join us in our efforts. And then networking with other Willamette parents. And so some of that might be that you met somebody along the way on the parent Facebook page or at one of our receptions here on campus, or because you already are from the same area and met somewhere along the way. And so we really love to know that our parents are networking and supporting one another in support of their students' endeavors. And then giving. I was really happy to see that so many folks participate in the annual fund. So a special and heartfelt thank you to that. We know when you're writing a check, in many cases, to help support the tuition of your student, to also then participate above and beyond that to help us provide the best education that we can to our students does not go unnoticed, and it's deeply appreciated. And then there were a few other kind of different ways that folks like to participate, and I can get into those a little later. So next slide. Interest in more involvement. So these are the same categories, but the ways in which you might like to kind of step up your involvement. And so some of you are interested in paying even closer attention to our communications, and that's always welcome. And hopefully you'll be at even more athletic events and campus programs for those of you who can join us. Hopefully several of you or many of you on this forum this evening were just with us here at Family Weekend, and it was awesome to have you. And then more virtual program attendance. And, again, we will continue this series. We have 7 additional forums coming up, and we hope to have some other programming for you as well. Maybe some parent and family bingo and trivia nights, and maybe some additional, depending on, if you feel like these breakout rooms here at the end are valuable, maybe some other sessions that are more geared to Zoom networking. And maybe that's broken out by regions, or maybe that's broken out by specific topics, but more to follow on that, and we'll appreciate your continued feedback in that area. And then again, serving as a volunteer, we had at least one person who's interested in kind of upping their game in terms of helping our community move forward in that way. And then more folks who are interested in giving to the annual fund. And again, can't appreciate that enough. And then networking with other parents, a very popular option. And there's at least 6 of you in addition that are interested in continuing on that way. And then serving as a volunteer, I think that might be a typo that was there, or maybe other folks included that as an additional one. But either way, we have folks who do want to serve as volunteers, and so we do the math, the 1 plus the 5 down here, and then we've got 6 additional people who are interested in continuing or increasing their involvement in volunteer opportunities. Okay, and so I mentioned, I think we went backwards. Yes, I mentioned earlier that we would break out the ways in which communication is one of the most popular ways that you want to stay engaged. And so I thought it was noteworthy to see that there are several of you that use the Parent Family Hub that I put the link into the chat earlier as your go-to source of information. Not surprised that the Woo News consumption is tied for the highest amount of your favorite engagement. And then the forum, I'm glad to see that's a popular option. And then I am happy to hear that you are also getting information from your student. Thank goodness. I hope that continues. We're here to backfill that information. And so, I do hope that you continue to ask your student. I bet, having now sent my student to college, when I ask him for information, I find that his first response is, I don't know. And then when he does share something about an upcoming event, it's usually 1 to 3 days before the event is actually happening. And so I am really looking forward to tuning in more closely with these types of communications that hopefully are coming from his school. And then some of the other ways, email announcements, looking at other parts of our website, Twitter. I'm glad that some of you are following what's happening on Twitter. And then, of course, the Parent and Family Facebook page is tied for the most popular way. And I've taken a more engaged role in moderating that this year, and I've really enjoyed that increased contact with you on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. So look forward to continuing to interact with you all in that space as well. Did I miss anything, Tiffany or Abby? In those previous slides, anything that I didn't really cover?
I think you got it.
Okay, good. And then in our written feedback, your comments were very instructive, and I've captured them from the survey and put them in a feedback log that we'll be sharing with our administrators, because you had a lot of positive things to say. Towards the bottom, there were a lot of general positive comments, but constructive wise, there were also some really important critical comments about facilities. 3 folks commented on that, at least 1 comment about residence life, a couple comments asking for some improvements in dining services. And even though, we're working toward communicating with you, there were some folks who would like us to think about some other ways to communicate, or some more frequent communication. And again, that's probably, at least some of those comments are in relation to communicating more frequently about our facilities situations. And we hear that loud and clear. And then positive feedback Some folks noted the excellent education or just general experience their students either have had while in their time here or had while they were here as students. Some folks did appreciate the communication that we've had, and then there were just general comments shared, and I think I may have captured some of those. I should have had my slide notes here, so bear with me as I just see what some of those other general. Just some other comments about academics and follow through and just general feeling positive about the experience that they've had, and certainly more focused on the experience that your students had. And then there were written comments about wanting to volunteer and join us for regional events as well. Some of you are from farther away, as we mentioned at the very beginning, and we hope that we can get to a place to come out to you in person at some point. So stay tuned for those opportunities as we hope to build those out in the future. All right, I think that is what I have for the survey results. Oh, I fibbed. The last piece of the survey was just wanting to interact. So we wanted to make sure and hear from folks who wanted a follow-up conversation, and I thought it was interesting. There is a director on the alumni board who is on the task force for community engagement and wants to have conversations with parents. And so this blue slice of the pie here are folks who we hope to set up a conversation with Joe Stewart, who's that director on the alumni board that I was mentioning. And then the big green slice is folks who just want to have a follow-up conversation with. It could be a staff person, it could be me, it could be with Joe, it could be with someone else. And so we will be getting your contact information from the survey and just making sure to reach back out to you to see if you would like to, in fact, have that further conversation. And it means a lot to us that you would like to interact with us and engage with us further. All right.
All right, so we are going to have about 20 minutes in our breakout groups. They kind of align with the different parts of the programming that we offer around parent engagement. I, of course, will be leading the communication section. Eric will be working on parent and family programming, and then volunteering and opportunities will be held by Cady and Abby. So we will have it where you kind of get to choose your own adventure. We'll talk for about 20 minutes before we bring everything back, summarize a bit, and then send you on your way for a lovely evening. So I'm going to virtually nod at our tech support folks to get that all set, and we will see you shortly in our groups. All right, so we're just going to wait for those other two breakouts to join us. And just so that you know, this main session is being recorded again, so you're not required to turn on your mic or your camera at this moment. But what I'm going to do is I am going to have all of the four of us that led different breakout sessions kind of summarize and share an update. And unless Eric, Cady, or Abby want to start, I can start with communications. Happy to take it on. So and the parents and family folks that are with us this evening, please feel free in the chat to correct me if I misconstrue or missed anything. But the big ones were more general, quicker updates when there is something happening on campus, especially in the facilities, student health, safety realms, where quicker updates or an opportunity to forum something to be more in the loop would be helpful. The forum idea to bring in some facilities and housing folks would be very much helpful. A reminder about the care report system and some of those other kind of holistic approaches to supporting and checking in on students who may be experiencing changes in behavior, life circumstances, those kinds of things could be helpful. All of those different things. So I have 4 pages of notes, and I want to thank my group for leaning in on some stuff. And then we also talked about how the Facebook group may not be useful or accessible for some folks who aren't allowed to have social media due to employment or other constraints. So other ways in which we can quickly share information. I'm going to hand it off to Eric.
All right, thank you. I'll finish. I was answering a question about the health center, and I'm really happy to share that we that position is staffed, and she will start, if she hasn't already started, she will start sometime in the next week or so on a part-time basis this semester, and then she'll be with us full-time starting in January. So there was a campus announcement about that, and maybe one of our panelists or our tech folks could put the link to the article that came out, just so that way folks have information on that person. And then otherwise in our group, we talked about just in general, people's experience engaging. Some folks had been here for family weekend, and that was great. Other folks are looking forward to family weekend at the PNCA and eager to receive some detailed information about that. So I shared that the copy has been finalized, so we can get that email out here in the next day or three. Otherwise, I just really appreciated hearing people's experiences, engaging with us, and hearing a little bit about the things that we could do more of, especially with regard to sharing additional details for PNCA parents.
Cady and Abby.
Yeah, I'll go next. So Cady and I basically shared some of the current volunteer opportunities that we have and talked through what those look like, and just ways that we can engage. We also talked about how when there are asks, we'll make sure to note if there's an upcoming volunteer opportunity in the news, just so folks can stay connected. And then there's interest in opportunities of connecting with folks at a regional level. So it's something that we'll bring back to the regional and affinity groups on our alumni board of directors, for just so they have that on their radar. But we want to make sure that when volunteer opportunities are available, we keep that information out in front of y'all.
All right. So with that, we've kind of gone through sharing the history of parent engagement at Willamette, the survey. If you would like to share your feedback, please do click that link and send your thoughts along. We all have plenty of information, well, a start to a great conversation and some information around communications, current and future programming ideas, and then volunteer opportunities currently in those we can build out. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your shared concern as we try to offer your students a world-class education and experience. Thank you also for your grace and patience as we've been working on hot water issues and hiring for the health center, which is an article I put down, and all kinds of stuff. We just appreciate you being willing to share and collaborate with us so that we can build out a wonderful ecosystem of shared information and opportunities and mutual support. So with that, we thank you for your time. We hope you all stay safe and healthy. Get those COVID and flu shots if you can. The season is upon us. And we just hope that you and yours stay well until next time. I just want to let you know that we have the emails posted. You're welcome to reach out to any of us with additional ideas. It's also in the chat. On November 8th, we'll be exploring key decisions faced by your students. That could be where they're living next year, what education pathway they might take from major selection and onward, study abroad, all kinds of different things. On November 24th, we'll be talking with our career development team and digging into what they offer, what those programs look like, and how they can help your student on their pathway to success. And with that, again, we appreciate your time and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening.